Sir, at the podium. Podium, right there. All right, sir, may I have your full name, please?
Yeah, my first name is Peter Achek.
All right, what's your date of birth? Thank you. You have been arrested for a case that is somewhat older, but has now been formally charged by the state. The charges are 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Those are class 4 felonies, and the date of these offenses are alleged to have been April 12th of 2023. And it looks like this was originally a case with the Phoenix Police Department. If that does not ring a bell, you will get copies of the police reports and the charges from your lawyer at your next court date. I am appointing a lawyer for you. You should have the same lawyer in this case that you do. Well, no, I'm sorry. You're now on probation in this other case. Okay. So in this case, I am appointing a lawyer for you. And I'm going to give you several upcoming court dates. All of these will be on your paperwork. The first one is a status conference on Thursday, the 26th of September at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court. Your preliminary hearing will be September 30th at 8:30 in the same court. You will also have a bail eligibility hearing in this case on September 27th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is this Friday. The reason you need a bail hearing is that at the time you are alleged to have committed these crimes, April 12th of 2023, you had not yet been sentenced in the case that you're now on probation for. And because of that timing, the law says you may not be given bail at this hearing. I must hold you for a bail hearing. At the bail hearing, you may or may not be found eligible for bail. That's up to the judge who hears the case. But at this hearing, I must hold you without bail. So you're not getting bail in this new case, at least until your bail hearing on Friday at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you can speak to your lawyer the day before about what's going to happen at the bail hearing, but this is an issue of timing. Because even though you're now on probation for that older case, at the time you are alleged to have done these crimes, you were in the middle of the case. You had not been sentenced. And that is what triggers the law that says you must have a bail hearing. So speak to your lawyer more about that, but you must remain in custody at least until another judge finds that you are eligible for bail. If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. All right, Mr. Powell, Don Ray Powell. And Maurice Ramey, will you go to the chair? Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Don Ray Powell, 180.
Thanks. You're here on a warrant from the Pinal County Superior Court and one from the Maricopa Superior Court. In Maricopa County, you are on probation for a Class 6 felony, it looks like, and you failed to appear at a revocation arraignment on April 25th of this year, and a warrant was issued for your arrest. We're going to give you another court date here in Maricopa County. That will be this Friday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That's a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing. You have already had a lawyer appointed in this Maricopa case. In the Pinal case, you are also on probation there. You were probably being courtesy supervised here, but they have also filed a petition to revoke your probation in Pinal County. They put out a warrant for you on May 20th of this year, and so I'm going to let them know they should appoint a lawyer for you when you get to Pinal County. Your arraignment hearing is scheduled earlier there. It's September 25th at 8:30 in the morning in the Pinal County Superior Court. I am affirming the Pinal judge's order that you are to be held without bond in their case. In the Maricopa case, you have a $250 secured appearance bond in written condition, but that doesn't change your no bond status out of Pinal County. So everything I just told you is on your paperwork. If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you a copy. Thank you. Mr. Ramey. Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Maurice Ramey.
Thanks. Mr. Ramey, you're here because you have been indicted by a grand jury in a case, it's newly indicted, meaning the indictment was handed down 2 days ago, but the alleged offense is back in April. So the charges are drive-by shooting, a Class 2 dangerous felony, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, that's a Class 3 felony. The alleged offense date is April 23rd of this year, and it looks like this comes out of the Phoenix Police Department. You will get a copy of the charges and police reports through your lawyer. I am appointing a lawyer for you. It should be the same lawyer for all of your open cases. In this case, you need to go be arraigned on this indictment. That's going to be this Friday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court. I am affirming the bond set when the warrant was issued, and that is $50,000. It is cash only, and that's on top of any other bonds that you may have. And everything's on your paperwork. Don't go to the scene of the alleged crimes if you bond out. No contact with any alleged victims or witnesses. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol. If you step to your left, the officer will give you paperwork.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Johnson, and then Patricia Luna Martinez, will you please go to the chair? Right here, sir. All right, can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Clifford Johnson.
All right, thanks. As I believe you know, you are here on a grand jury warrant because you got indicted on one count of failure to stay at the scene of an accident involving death or serious physical injury. That's a Class 2 felony. The alleged offense date is December 6th of 2022. Looks like this indictment was handed down this past January. So I am going to appoint a lawyer for you. Your next court date is an arraignment hearing September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That's this Friday in the downtown Superior Court. I am affirming the bond in your case. It is $20,000. It is secured. If you bond out, comply with all of your conditions. Those include no contact with any alleged victim, or if it's a deceased victim, I don't know which, no contact with their next of kin, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and right now, you're not permitted to leave the state. You need to get that permission from the trial judge in your case, but right now you need to stick around and go be arraigned on Friday. Everything's on your paperwork if you step to your left.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Luna Martinez, and then Omar Garibay Lara, will you please go to the chair? Hello, ma'am. Can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Patricia R. Beaver.
Thanks. I remember you, and okay. So I've got both of these in here. I'm going to leave it, let's see, because I think you've been charged in this case. So I'm going to leave it how it is right now, but when you get downtown, you need to get them to update your name in their system. Our system is older at the jail, and it no longer transmits data downtown. So
I have two AKAs, so it's been a little bit
weird. So just make
yeah.
sure through your lawyer that they get your current name sorted out downtown.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so in this case, you have been charged in a criminal complaint. This was yesterday with two counts, same offense date, 2 counts of aggravated DUI, Class 4 felonies. The alleged offense date is August 30th of this year, so about 3 weeks ago. And so I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you. It'll be the same lawyer. You should end up with the same ones. Did you hire Mr. Rambo?
No, he's my public defender for another case.
Then he should end up with this one too. That's how it works.
Okay.
Okay. And so, all right, your next court date is going to be a status conference this Thursday, September 26th at 8:30, with the preliminary hearing September 30th at 8:30. And I'm affirming the bond in your case, which is $10,000 secured. I need to reprint this one. I am going to do the drug and alcohol testing if you bond out. All right, so we just need to reprint for that. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm currently already incarcerated at Estrella.
Right, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know. So this goes on top of
okay.
any other bonds or fines. Mm-hmm. The cases operate separately.
Okay.
So if you do bond out, in this case, because of the nature of the case, you're going to drug and alcohol test. Sorry, officers, we just need to reprint hers. Same court dates and everything. It's just going to reflect the drug and alcohol testing if you do bond out. So if you go have a seat, we're going to send out your paperwork.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Garibay Lara, will you go to the chair, podium, please, and then Carolina Cabrera, will you please go to the chair? Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and date of birth?
My name is Omar Garibay Lara.
Thanks. You're here on a warrant from Pinal County. And in this case, it appears you've been charged with narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, that's a Class 1 misdemeanor, and then driving under the influence of drugs, also a Class 1 misdemeanor. So I am going to appoint a lawyer for you. I'm going to let them know they should do that when you get to Pinal County. And looks like the alleged offense date in this case is April 10th of 2024, and that it comes out of, they did not list a law enforcement agency, sorry, something in Pinal. And
they had scratched the case and they were supposed to send me a...
now they have filed it. So you have to go to court, and your court date is going to be September 25th. That's this Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning in the Pinal County Superior Court. I'm affirming their bond. It's $2,500. It is secured. If you bond out, you need to be in Pinal County on Wednesday morning, or you lose your bond money. If you don't bond out, the Pinal sheriffs are going to come and get you from Maricopa. If you set you up, they'll give you your paperwork.
How long do they take to get here?
I don't know, and I think it can be a bit of a luck of the draw, but Pinal, I think, comes very regularly, much more so than the faraway counties. But you have to talk to the DOs about when you can hope to get transported.
Okay.
So if you step to your left, they give you paperwork.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Ms. Cabrera, and then Kristen Ross, will you go to the chair? Good morning, ma'am. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Carolina Cabrera.
Okay, thanks. You're here on 2 probation warrants. You are on probation in 2 felony cases, and there were petitions to revoke your probation filed on July 11th. Those petitions allege that you violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 7 of your intensive probation. You will get copies of the petitions from your lawyer, and I am appointing a lawyer for you in both cases. Your next court date will be the same for both cases. It's September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That's this Friday in the downtown probation court. That'll be a revocation, arraignment, and possible disposition hearing. I am affirming the bonds that were set when the warrants issued, and that is $750 secured per case for $1,500 total. If you bond out, comply with all of your conditions and call your PO within 72 hours. To step to your left, the officer will give you paperwork. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. May I have your full name and your date of birth?
Kristen Ross.
Okay, thanks. Are you Kristen Marie Ross? Okay, thanks. You're here on a new case. You were, oh, no, I'm sorry, a bench warrant. You've already been charged with possessing narcotic and dangerous drugs. Those are Class 4 felonies. And back on July 10th, you failed to appear at a status conference, and there was a warrant issued for your arrest. So you've already had a lawyer appointed. You are going to have a status conference this coming Thursday, September 26th at 8:30 in the morning. Your preliminary hearing will be September 30th at 8:30. The court address will be on your paperwork. I am affirming the $500 secured appearance bond in your case. If you bond out, comply with all of your written conditions and don't miss your court dates. If you step to your left, you get a copy of your paperwork.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Am I released today?
You have to post bond. You are released, but one of the conditions is posting $500 bond. So if you don't have it, you won't get out. If you do have it, you will.
So
If you step to your left, you give your paperwork. Thanks. Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Clive Smith.
What's your date of birth? All right, thanks. You're here on 3 matters. 1 is a new case, and 2 are probation warrants. I'm going to start with your new case. You got arrested for possessing narcotic drugs. It's a Class 4 felony. There is probable cause for it, and I am appointing a lawyer for you in this case and in both of your probation cases. There were already warrants out for your arrest in your probation cases since May 26th of this year. And the petitions to revoke allege that you violated terms 3 and 5 of your intensive probation. You'll get copies of those from your lawyer at your next hearing. All right, you have 3 upcoming hearings. 2 of them will be in the new case. That is a status conference this Thursday, September 26th at 8:30 in the morning, with your preliminary hearing on September 30th at 8:30. And in the probation case, your next court date is this Friday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning for a revocation arraignment. The address for the court will be on your paperwork. In each of your probation cases, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. In the new case, you have a $50 bond to make you eligible for credit for time in custody. That is $1,050 total. If you bond out, comply with all of your written conditions, and call your PO within 24 hours because you're on intensive probation. If you'll step to your left, I'll give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Penusatele, and then Taylor Hurst. Will you go to the chair, please? Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Kingston Penusatele, 0.
Thanks. You're here On a warrant and a pending case, you have been charged already with theft of a means of transportation, a Class 3 felony. You failed to appear at a status conference on September 19th, and there was a warrant issued for your arrest. You already have a lawyer. Your status conference is now going to be September 26th, which is this Thursday at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court, with a preliminary hearing September 30th at 8:30 in the morning. You have a $500 secured appearance bond and written release conditions. If you bond out, comply with all of those and don't miss your court date. You step to your left, the officer will give you a copy of your paperwork. Ms. Hurst, and then Manuel Venegas, will you please go to the chair? Hello, ma'am. May I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Taylor Hurst.
Thank you. You're here on 3 probation violation warrants. You're on probation in 3 separate felony cases. There were petitions to revoke your probation filed in all 3 cases back on September 6th. The petitions allege that you violated terms 3, 4, and 5. You'll get copies of those from your lawyer, and I'm appointing a lawyer for you in every case. You have the same court dates for all these cases, same court date for all these cases. It's this Friday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing in the downtown probation court. Your bond in each of the 3 cases is $250 secured for $750 total. If you bond out, comply with all of your written conditions and call your PO within 72 hours of release. If you step to your left, you've got your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Venegas, and then Krista Winchester, will you please go to the chair? Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Manuel Joe Venegas, 3.
Thank you. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for criminal damage, a Class 1 domestic violence misdemeanor. There is probable cause for that, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is in the White Tank Justice Court this coming Wednesday, September 25th at 8:30 in the morning. The address is on your paperwork. Your bond is $500. It is secured. If you bond out, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't completely fill out the release conditions for this guy. Mr. Lee, or Officer Lee, I need to reprint that. Okay, 1 second. Let me just get this clicked, okay? Sorry. I thought I did, and then I apparently didn't, so hang on 1 second, okay? Just stand by. Okay, all right. September 25th, 8:30 in the morning, $500 secured appearance bond. If you post it, and whether you are in or out of jail, no contact with the alleged victim. Don't respond to any contact from her. You can't live where she lives. If you do, you have to find alternative residence, bring proof to your next court date. You can do a civil standby with law enforcement to collect belongings. No weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. If you get served with an order of protection, you have to comply with that as well. Everything's going to be on your paperwork. We just need to get it reprinted, and we'll send it out to you if you go have a seat.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Winchester. And then James Warner, will you please go to the chair? Hello, ma'am. May I have your full name and your date of birth?
Krista Michelle Winchester, J.
Thank you. You're here on a warrant from the Surprise City Court, where you appear to be on some type of probation, or no, I'm sorry, this is pre-adjudication. You've not yet been convicted. You've been charged with drug paraphernalia possession, Class 1 misdemeanor. This warrant issued on August 21st of 2024. So I'm going to give you a court date in Surprise City Court. It is October 1st. That is a week from Tuesday, October 1st at 1:30 in the afternoon. You have a $250 secured appearance bond. If you post it, you have to be there on October 1st. If you don't post it, you will have a lawyer assigned to help you with the bond only on October 1st. All right, everything you need to know is on your paper.
So I won't get released today?
No, I think you were set to be released in a different case, but this failure to appear predates when you came into custody the last time. So you definitely missed this court date, so you have to post a bond or stick around till you see the surprise judge. But you'll start getting credit for time today if you end up convicted in this surprise case. All right, good luck, ma'am. Mr. Warner? Good morning, sir. May I have your full name and date of birth, please?
James T. Warner.
Thank
Thanks. You're here on a warrant from the Verde Valley Justice Court. In this case, it is a post-adjudication warrant for failing to comply with the terms of your probation or sentence in a case in which you've been convicted of DUI as a misdemeanor. This warrant issued May 5th of 2023. Your court date up in Verde Valley Justice Court will be this Wednesday, September 25th at 8:30 in the morning. The address for the court is on your paperwork. Your bond is $250. It is secured. If you bond out, you need to be up at that justice court on Wednesday or you'll lose your bond money. If you don't bond out, they will give you a lawyer when you get there to help you with the bond issue only. Everything's on your paperwork. If you step to your left, the officer will give you a copy. Thank you. We're going to take a very short pause while I work on two electronically submitted warrants. Wait. Hello, sir. May I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
David Christopher Valentine II.
Thanks. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. There is probable cause for those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date will be a status conference, October 7th, which is 2 weeks from Monday, the 7th of October at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court. Your preliminary hearing will be October 9th at 8:30 in the same court, and that will be on your paperwork. You have very little, if any, criminal history, so I'm going to release you on your own recognizance to come to court. I'm not prohibiting you from going to the scene of the alleged crimes, although obviously if you are told not to go back by the people who own it or whatever, that's a separate issue. But right now, on these facts, I'm not specifically prohibiting you from going there, so if they let you be there, you can be there. Everything's on your paperwork, and you should be out hopefully within a few hours. Try to be patient.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Ms. Trista? Hello, ma'am. May I have your full name and your date of birth?
Trista Sass.
Thanks. You are here on an arrest warrant for an older case. You've been charged in a criminal complaint with possessing narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. That was alleged to have happened on September 27th of 2023, and it looks like they tried to send you a summons once the charges were filed but didn't have a working address. So you didn't miss any court dates. We don't hold that against you.
Okay.
We're just sorry this is how you had to find out.
Yeah.
But they did try to send you a polite request to come to court, but it just didn't, it went undelivered.
Okay.
So we just treat it like a new case because it is.
Okay.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you, give you 2 court dates. The first one will be a status conference 2 weeks from Monday, October 7th, 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing October 9th at 8:30. Those are in the downtown Superior Court, and that address will be on your paperwork. You qualify for release on your own recognizance in this case. So just comply with those conditions. They're not hard, and don't miss your court dates, okay? If you step to your left, you get that paperwork. Thanks.
So I'll be gone in a couple hours.
Yeah, it's slow to get released because this is the main release facility, but you'll be out later today.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Jeffrey John Still.
Thanks. You're here in a new case. You were arrested for allegations of possessing dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. There is probable cause for those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is a status conference, October 7th. That is 2 weeks from Monday, 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing October 9th at 8:30. Those are in the downtown Superior Court. That address will be on your paperwork. You also qualify for release on your own recognizance. You have felony priors, but they're old, and they don't make me think you're not going to come to court. Come to court. Especially if you don't want to spend any time in jail. These are drug charges. Even though you have at least one illegible prior, that's the aggravated DUI, loads of people in your position are getting probation offers in drug cases. So I don't tell you that because it's a guarantee. That's up to the county attorney.
I understand.
It's just to motivate you to go.
I understand.
So just show up.
Yeah, I've been doing really good. It's been like 10 years since I've had any issues.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm
show up
sorry,
and see what you want to do with your case, but if you miss court, you end up stuck back here. Anyway, I just always encourage people and tell them, like, even with your priors, you might literally never do another night in jail on this case if you show up and do what you're supposed to do. So
okay.
just go, okay?
Okay.
If you step to your left, you get your paperwork.
No problem.
All right,
Thank
good
you.
luck. Ms. Collins? I'm sorry, Mr. Perez, and then Ms. Collins, we go to the chair. Hi, can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Andrew Anthony Perez.
Okay, thanks. You are here on an arrest warrant for a much older case that has been lurking around waiting to find you. So this is the charge. It is theft as a Class 4 felony, which, as I recall, is in an amount over $10,000, but you can look it up with your lawyer, and you'll get police reports. The alleged offense date, it's a range of dates from April 9th to April 20th of 2017, and this comes out of the Scottsdale Police Department. But if that doesn't ring any bells, you will get reports, and you'll get a copy of the charge from your lawyer. You can figure out exactly what they're accusing you of. And it looks like this warrant has actually been waiting to find you since November of 2018. So, but just like the other folks, we don't hold that against you. You didn't miss any court dates. They sent you a summons.
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah, they mailed you a summons and it bounced. And so this is the unpleasant way to find out that maybe something you thought was not a problem anymore is.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
At this point in time, you don't financially qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, so I'm not appointing a lawyer for you. You have the right to hire one or to represent yourself. Your status conference will be 2 weeks from Monday, October 7th at 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing October 9th at 8:30. The court address in downtown Phoenix is on your paperwork. You qualify for release on your own recognizance. You really don't have much criminal history, and obviously you have not run into any trouble with the police since at least 2017.
No, ma'am.
So just comply with your conditions, don't miss court, and that is all. All right?
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Thank you. Hi, ma'am, could I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Lisa Collins, 11.
Thank you. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for shoplifting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. And we don't appoint counsel in this kind of misdemeanor case, but you always have the right to hire a lawyer if you can afford one, or to represent yourself. Your arraignment hearing is going to be in the Carefree Cave Creek Consolidated Court. It's just a long name, but it's up there in Carefree, or Cave Creek, one or the other. The address is on your paperwork. And it's October 9th at 9 in the morning, so it's a little over 2 weeks from now. And you qualify for release on your own recognizance. Just don't go back to the Walmart. Don't go back there. They tend to trespass. So if you got trespassed, certainly comply with that. But you can't, for my case, you cannot go back to this Walmart.
No, they said any Walmart.
I was going to say, they tend to trespass nationwide. So that being said, right, court order-wise,
no
understand,
problem.
okay. So comply with your release conditions. Don't miss your court dates, okay? If you step to your left, you get a copy of that. Thanks. Mr. Shardy? Sure. Good morning, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Samuel Shorty.
Thanks. You're here on a warrant from the Peoria City Court, where you have been charged with criminal trespassing as a Class 3 misdemeanor. I'm going to give you a next court date up there. Oh, and this warrant goes back to 2022, by the way. It's September 12th of 2022. And they're saying that it's a failure to appear. I'm going to give you an arraignment hearing there of October 10th, which is almost 3 weeks from now, October 10th at 9 in the morning in the Peoria City Court. I'm also going to release you in this case. Did you get released by Phoenix? Did they release you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then you'll also be released in this case. Go to court. Comply with your release conditions. Good luck, sir. Please step to your left to get your paperwork.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Lopez? And then Michael Price, would please, Price and Intravia, I'm going to do like a preamble with you guys at the same time because you're both on out-of-state warrants. So both, after Mr. Lopez, I'll have both Price and Intravia come in at the same time, please. All right, sir, can I have your full name and date of birth?
J. Francis Lopez.
Okay, thanks. You are here on a new case. You got arrested for possessing dangerous drugs. It's a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. There is probable cause for those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is going to be, you have a probation hold. So this is just a new case only. Can they get some, you guys, I need you to be quiet. We can't hear in here. Thanks. Okay, so your court date in the new case is 2 weeks from Monday, October 7th at 8:30 in the morning. Your preliminary hearing will be October 9th at 8:30. Those are in the downtown Superior Court. And then in your probation case, it's an automatic filing. They have to, by policy, file a petition to revoke your probation. So you're going to have a lawyer in your probation case also with a court date that is sooner. It's this coming Friday, September 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That's your probation court date. Now, in your case, I'm actually, and I don't do this very often, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance to be supervised by your PO. And the reason is, and I put it in your orders, you were close to being off of probation. You were being pretty compliant. And you did, I saw that was it. In your probation case, they sent you a summons the last time you had a petition to revoke, and you actually went to court. And so, I don't feel like you're going to flee or run off into the wind and just blow this off. If you do, we'll eventually find you, and then you won't get out. But right now, it seems like you've been pretty compliant with your PO, et cetera. So I'm willing to give you a chance to just come to court and deal with this. If you don't, I would hope, you could actually be held no bond in these cases at any time. And so I'm not doing that, though, because I think you might end up just back on probation for a while. I don't know. But you need to go to court, okay? Will you do that?
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, and I didn't order you not to go back there either, to the group home. Or whatever it's called, the sober living home. I didn't order you not to go back there. But if they kick you out, you're kicked out. But I mean, if they'll let you back in, I didn't prohibit you from going there, okay? All right, good luck. All right. Hello. I don't worry about this like I would maybe if it was some of the guys. All right, ma'am, give me your full name and date of birth again.
Jade Andrews Hunter, 7.
Thanks. You're here on a warrant from Peoria City Court. It's for a misdemeanor indecent exposure case. I'm going to give you a court date there. Hold on one second. This warrant, I just want to tell you when it was issued, July 9th of this year. And so this warrant, you're going to go to court for this warrant Tuesday, September 24th at 9 in the morning. That's the Peoria City Court. And you have a $250 secured appearance bond in this case with written conditions. So if you don't bond out, the sheriffs will take you over for court in Peoria on Tuesday. All right?
Is it the same thing?
I don't think it is. No, you're already here on something else from the 18th. And that was the obstruction of justice by the refusal to provide a true name, and also a reckless burning disorderly conduct charge.
Yeah.
So you still have other stuff going on.
So how many charges do I have altogether?
I don't know. You need to ask the sheriff because you could have city stuff. I know you have the reckless burning case.
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything else besides that. So ask the sheriffs, okay?
It'd be good if I could just clear it all out so I could go home to
Probably
Salt Lake City.
Probably so. All right. All right. Good luck, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. Okay, now, Mr. Price and Mr. Introvalle, if you come in, please. I like to do the preliminary stuff together, and then I'll do your cases one at a time. Okay, so if you have cards, you could just, if you want to keep the card and read it, you can leave it there. Did you get a card, Mr. Introvalle? Did you get a card to read?
No.
Oh, well.
I gave you the card to read.
Yeah, you didn't read it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, fine, okay, right, because then we can only have one outcome of this. Okay, so each of you is here on an out-of-state warrant, which just works very differently than an in-state warrant because you have extradition rights. So that's what the card is all about, because if you chose today to waive your extradition rights, I can take your waiver. I have to ask you some formal questions, et cetera. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I had another side thought, got distracted. So you have to have read the card, because that's what you would be signing if you sign the waiver. You sign electronically, that's why we give it to you on the card, just so you can read what you're about to sign. All right, now, everybody who comes in on an extradition case generally has 4 basic rights, but people who are here on probation or parole warrants don't have the bail right, and I believe that's you, Mr. Price. So you only have 3 rights, you have 4. So, starting with, number 1, you have the right to have an extradition hearing for your warrant here in Arizona within 90 days after today. That is the longest it could possibly take. They can't extend it any more beyond 90 days after today. That's your first right. Second right is, as part of the whole extradition process, you can insist that the state fulfill the requirement of a governor's warrant signed by the governors of each state, and that gets presented in Arizona as part of your extradition hearing. They have to get and that's part of why they get 90 days, because it takes a while to get those governors' signatures, and they have to present that in Arizona to prove that they have the legal right to take you back without your consent. The third right is you have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you. But extradition cases are not criminal cases. They're civil cases. You fight the criminal charges back at the state that wants you. All you can do here is contest the extradition, and that's a civil court proceeding. So you don't have a constitutional right to a lawyer. What you have is the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense. And you can also represent yourself, and there is a public defender generically assigned to our extradition court because we have the resources to do it, not because you're entitled. So what I'd like to let defendants know, because that's a fortunate thing. I think in most places they absolutely do not. Here we do, and she can give you legal advice if you don't waive today, if you continue on with your case, but she's not individually assigned to your case unless the extradition judge decides to do that in her discretion. It's just discretionary. So I cannot and won't appoint a lawyer for you because you don't have that constitutional right to it. What you have is the right to hire a lawyer. But I know it's a little complicated. I just like to let people know that it is theoretically possible you could end up with a public defender in this case, but I can't do it. So that's the third right. Now, there is a fourth right that only applies if you have not yet been convicted. So if it's a parole warrant or a probation warrant, then our statute says you have to be held no bond no matter what you decide. So if you want to waive, you get held no bond. If you don't want to waive, Mr. Price, you get held no bond because yours is a probation warrant. Mr. Intervalla, yours may be a probation warrant. You don't have to tell me if it is. It's not up to you to tell me. And I put a note in here saying, triangulating what I can see. I think it probably is. If I was a betting person, I would bet that it is a probation warrant, but I do not know that for a fact right now. Their case information, what we get at this stage, can often be very, very limited. And unless it's clear, we're not going to hold you no bond because Arizona has a constitutional bail provision. So even though Illinois issued a no bond warrant for you, if you don't waive today, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $25,000 cash only. You could post it and be out of custody while the extradition proceedings are happening, but you have to come to all of our extradition hearings. There's usually 2 or 3 before the actual extradition hearing. Okay. You have to come to all of those. Or we keep your bond money and we issue an Arizona warrant on top of I forget what state you are, but on top of that state's warrant, Illinois.
Can I say something really quick?
Not about your case because right now I'm just speaking generically.
Okay, yeah.
So if you have a question, but I just need to talk generically, and then I'll do your cases one at a time.
All right.
So that is the fourth right that you don't have, Mr. Price. So that's if you don't. So if you don't waive, those are your rights, right? So if you don't waive extradition, you keep all the rights that you have, and you're on a 90-day clock, and you wouldn't get bond, but you would. Now you can also bypass that whole process and agree to go back. We call that waiving extradition. And so you'd have to waive those rights. So that's why I have formal questions to establish that you know what the rights are before I ask if you want to give them up. And that we give people an opportunity to do it basically at every hearing in an extradition case because some people want to, but you never have to. These are your rights. You don't have to give them up. If you wanted to, though, then what it does, I can take your waiver. If I do, that starts a clock running against the state that wants you. It starts the day after you waive. So if you waive today, their clock will start tomorrow, and it's 30 calendar days. It cannot be extended. It's 30 calendar days to come and get you. And if you have any Arizona cases, criminal cases, I don't see any charges or holds, then I have to warn you that the clock stops. You have to deal with your Arizona case, and then their clock will start over at day 1. So if next week a warrant hits from, I always like to say, Flagstaff for driving on a suspended license because it's a misdemeanor, the clock will stop. You have to go deal with that, and then the state's clock starts over at day 1. And so that's theoretically possible, so I have to tell you that could happen. So you're held no bond if you waive, though. No more extradition hearing, no more governor's warrant. You can still hire a lawyer, but there's no court hearings. And no bail if you waive, and you previously would have had bail. So 90 days, if you don't waive, you're going to have an extradition hearing. 30 days if you do waive, and Mr. Price, you wouldn't have bond either way. Mr. Intervalla, we'll talk about it in your case, but the court would set a $25,000 cash bail if you don't waive. And then if you don't waive, I'm going to give you your next hearing, which is going to be Monday, September 30th. So you'd be back in court if you wanted to waive then. If you didn't waive today, you want to think about it, talk to family, talk to a lawyer, whatever, you can waive on the 30th. You just have to be in front of a judge. And so the sheriffs aren't gonna, if you change your mind tomorrow and go, please will you take me to see the judge, they're like, nope, you can't go till September 30th. So, if you wanna start the clock as fast as possible, that's why we give you a chance, no obligation, no pressure, nothing. So why don't we start with you, Mr. Price, because your situation's a little more straightforward, and then we'll do your case, okay? All right, so let us actually do your case now. Can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Michael Price.
Mr. Price, you're here on a warrant from Harris County, Texas. This warrant was issued, hold on June 27th of this year, and it says you're on probation for burglary of a habitation, and they have issued a no bond warrant for you, and they say they want to extradite you. So, do you have any questions for me about the rights that I just went over, or what will happen depending on what you decide or don't decide today?
Yeah, not a question, but you said basically if I waive my rights, they'll just have 30 days?
Correct.
Then after the 30, what happens? Like if they don't?
So after the 30, if they don't come get you, you get released. But, and that, I did forget to say that, I always like to warn people, getting arrested in a different state doesn't kill the warrant out of the Texas system. So if you get released, you could literally be arrested on the very same warrant. I've seen it happen. And so what can happen is, you know, a few weeks will go by, a few months will go by. If you don't do something about it in Texas, you can get arrested on the very same warrant the next time you get pulled over. And I've had people come in and go, well, this is like the second or third time I've been arrested, and they don't come get me. And I say, sorry, there's literally nothing that we can do about it in Arizona. We can't kill the warrant out of the Texas system. The most I'll do is put a note in there saying, no, defendant said he's been arrested before on this warrant. And then the public defender and or the extradition judge, they can look it up, et cetera. But, so I just like to warn people. Some states, and I don't know for sure because I've never worked extradition court, but I know from being around a long time, some states come and get people a lot, some states don't. I can't tell you, I can't give you legal advice on whether they're coming to get you, just to let you know that if they don't, you're going to be released, but the warrant is alive and well, and if you don't do something in Texas about it, you're going to be rearrested on it eventually. So, it's just a warning.
So, if I do like the 90 days and I get released, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to have to handle it, huh?
Right, like say it goes 90 days, and they don't manage to give you your extradition hearing within that time, you get released, and the warrant stays active in the national system. Just remember, only Texas can kill Texas's warrant out of the system. We cannot. Okay. And so you have to hire a lawyer, you have to send letters, you have to do, if that were to happen to you, you'd have to do, you got to do something to get Texas to quash that warrant.
Okay.
So, could happen. There's no, like, I'm not able to give you odds. Maybe the public defender could, because she can give you legal advice and the benefit of her experience as to your particular state. That definitely would not be proper for me to do, nor do I really have a good basis of knowledge. She will, because she's been in that court like 10 years. So if you don't want to waive, here's the difference. If you waive today, your waiver clock starts September 22nd. If you wait and think about it, and you do decide to waive on September 30th, your waiver clock will start October 1. That's the essential difference from waiving today versus waiving on the 30th. Okay. So, but I always like to tell people, if you have a question in your mind, if you want more answers, if you want more info, if you want anything, don't waive. Because once you waive, this extradition case is done. You sit in the jail and wait, and the sheriffs will not take you to a judge for love or money because you don't have a case. They're just obligated to hold you for 30 days and see if they come get you. So I just tell people, if you have some question in your mind, something you don't like about it, something you want to try to do, something, whatever, don't wait because you don't have any more court dates. You're done. But if you want to just agree to go back, you can start the clock now. But it's no skin off my nose if you don't want to waive. I don't care.
Yeah, I really rather waive.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you the questions. We use a script because waiving rights, that's very serious, and we have to not screw it up. So, all right. First question is, did you read the waiver of extradition paperwork? That's the card we gave you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand that you do not have to sign the waiver paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to have an extradition hearing here in Arizona?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense for these extradition proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to insist that a governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both states before you are returned to Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Understanding those rights, do you want to give them up and sign the waiver paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to sign the paperwork?
No, ma'am.
And have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours?
No, ma'am.
All right, then I find that you knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily are waiving your right to an extradition hearing on this warrant and signing the waiver paperwork. My orders will direct our sheriff's office to notify Texas that you're ready to return. Texas will have 30 calendar days starting tomorrow to come and pick you up. And I have to say this, if you have any Arizona charges or holds that pop up during that period, then Texas's clock will start at the conclusion of your Arizona case. Any questions for me before we finish?
Okay, so like, I'm supposed to, like, I already signed for probation, but I go to sentencing Friday, so
Okay.
it would start after Friday, huh?
I believe it should, but if that's an important question for you, then don't waive. Because I believe that they will put you on probation, then you are released, and that means, I haven't looked at your case, but assuming you're right, and you're scheduled to get a probation sentence on Friday, then you will be released from the Arizona case on Friday. So I think what that means is, what's Friday, the 27th?
Yeah.
So I think your waiver clock will actually start the 28th.
Okay.
Because assuming that you get released by Arizona on Friday, then the jail will notify Texas, okay, he's clear of his Arizona stuff, come get him. And assuming that you don't have any weird criminal matters waiting to hit the system. Because I don't know, what might have been going on in your life that, I just like to warn people, like if there's something lurking out there and it hits the system before Texas comes, the clock stops, you have to deal with it, and then you go to Texas. But if you're right, and the only thing you've got is that, and you're going to get probation on Friday, then your waiver clock should start the 28th.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you have to sign a couple times, but my clerk will tell you when. We're going to give you a copy of what you're signing, and it is the waiver paperwork, okay? All right, so just if you'll step over here, officer, did you want to, I don't know if you want to babysit him, I don't know. It's up to you guys. But she'll tell you when to sign. All right, good luck. All right, Mr. Intravaya, you want to come in? Now, can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
David Intravaya, 11.
Okay, thanks. Let me double check that I have that. Okay. All right, and sir, you are here on a warrant from DuPage County, Illinois. This warrant issued on September 18th of 2024, so 3 days ago. And it says, weapon offense, armed habitual. Like I said, we get very limited, we get an abstract over a very old computer system at this hearing. And so if you want more information than that, I won't have it. You'll have to not waive and go to your next hearing where you'll get more paperwork, you get discovery, you get that kind of stuff. We just don't have that available now. So that is literally all that I know, although I do have your criminal history here. So any questions for me about all those rights and things that we went over before the other defendant's case?
So if I don't sign the waiver, I get a bond, but that means I will have to go to every court date out here until...
Yes, and you cannot leave the state without the extradition judge's permission. So sometimes people maybe would like to travel back to that state and try to take care of the warrant. You have to get clearance from the extradition judge. Sometimes she will let people do that, sometimes she won't. Totally up to her. But we don't permit that out of this court. You got to go talk to the extradition judge. So if you don't waive, I'm going to set the bond, and you'll be back in front of her on September 30th, Monday, September 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That would be where you could ask for permission to travel, and or if you weren't able to post the bond or you changed your mind, you could also waive extradition on the 30th. This is just an opportunity to do it. But if you can't decide today or if you just don't want to waive, no worries. I'm going to set the bond and give you a court date.
Okay, so what if I don't waive it, and then you set the bond, and then we go to the court date, can I still, next court date, if I want to waive it, can I waive it? Okay.
Right, yeah. Even if you did bond out, you could walk into the next court date and waive. Of course, they would take you into custody if you did. But, yeah, if you're still in custody on the 30th, you're like, well, okay, fine, I'm just going to waive. Happens all the time. I mean, that's why at the start of every hearing down there, they make a call, who wants to waive, and there'll be a few people, and she'll take their waivers, and then she'll continue on with the people who are progressing towards an extradition hearing.
Okay.
So you want to take the bond on the court date?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna note that you do not waive your rights.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
The bond, is it 10% down here or no? It's
No,
the
we do
whole-
cash on fugitive warrant, so it's dollar for dollar.
So it's a whole 25,000?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you might as well waive that. Damn.
Well, it's up to you. I can't make that decision for you. It's just up to you. I can only take a waiver or not take a waiver. If I don't take a waiver, I'm gonna give you a court date and that bond. If I do take a waiver, it'll be held no bond, and then your 30-day clock will start tomorrow, assuming you don't have any other cases from Arizona floating around out there.
Right. I don't. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'll sign it. Get it over with.
You wanna waive?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let me ask you those questions, because like I said, I do have to make a record that you understand the rights you have before I ask if you want to give them up. So, did you read the waiver of extradition paperwork you gave me?
Yeah.
All right, do you understand that you do not have to sign the waiver paperwork?
Yeah.
Do you, and I thought I was hearing a yes, but can you say yes or no, because if anybody transcribes it, we need a yes or no.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Was it yes to the earlier question too?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, do you understand that you have the right to an extradition hearing here in Arizona? One second, show me the second one. Yeah, thank you. Do you understand that you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense for these extradition proceedings?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Do you understand that you have the right to insist that a governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both states before you are returned to Illinois?
Yes.
And do you understand that you have the right to bail if you don't waive extradition?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you do waive extradition, you will be held without bail until Illinois has had 30 calendar days to come and get you?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because I can ask it again if you lost the thread.
No, I was just thinking out, because it's different in Chicago, so it's 10%. When you said...
We have a 10% here, but we don't do that in extradition cases. We only do cash.
Okay.
And it's never 10% to the court. It's 10% to a bail bondsman, 10% fee, and then they want collateral. So I don't think it's identical. It's not like 10% on deposit with the court.
Okay.
I don't think that's the same.
You
can back out. I need to get going because I got to do a bunch of juveniles at 1 o'clock. But you don't have to do this.
Sorry, I'm only taking one. My only question is, if I do sign it, my time starts tomorrow.
Right.
And if I don't sign it, it starts at the 30th.
And if you then did wait, so if you don't sign it, then you're automatically on the 90-day clock to have the hearing. So you're still on a clock, but it's the clock to have your hearing, which is a total of 90 days. It's kind of like your speedy trial clock.
Yeah.
If you don't wait, you're on the 90-day plan. But then if you went in on the 30th and waived, then you'd be on a 30-day clock, and it would start on October 1, because it starts the day after you waive, is day 1.
Right.
So if you sign today, then day 1 for you is September 22nd. So if you're counting on your hands, which I would have to do 22, 23, 24, like if you want to know what your 30th day is, if you sign today, September 22nd is your day 1. If you did waive on the 30th, October 1 would be your day 1. All right.
You cool. I'll sign it.
Okay, then I got to finish asking you the questions, okay?
Okay, sorry.
So, do you want to give up all the rights I just went over and sign the waiver paperwork?
Yes.
And has anybody threatened you or promised you anything to get you to sign the paperwork?
No.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication within the last 24 hours?
No.
All right, then I find that you knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily are signing the waiver paperwork and waiving your right to an extradition hearing on this warrant. My orders will direct our sheriff's office to notify Illinois that you're ready to return. Illinois will have 30 calendar days starting tomorrow to come and get you. And if you have any Arizona charges or criminal holds, then Illinois' 30 days will begin at the conclusion of your Arizona cases. Any questions for me before we finish?
No.
Okay. All right, then you do have to sign, and my clerk will tell you when, and then we'll give you a copy of what you're signing. Good luck, sir. Okay, so then...